Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. And for those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very, very much for your support. I greatly appreciate it. Why is somebody calling me right now? I can't answer that. All right. My phone's ringing right now. Okay. So I was inspired to do this. I'm doing it live. I've never done a pick a card live, so we're going to see how this goes. But if you don't want to watch it now, you can certainly watch it later once it's fully uploaded to YouTube. I will put on the YouTube video in the video description where the timestamps are for the groups. There's 3 groups. What you're supposed to choose from right now is from these 3 pendulums. These are pendulums that I decided to hang from this tree of light. Don't ask. I'm just feeling weirdly inspired. I think it has to do, obviously it's the full moon in Cancer. So, and it's the last full moon, not only it's the last full moon of the year. So it's kind of a significant full moon, and full moons are all about releasing. And I just kind of felt like I felt inspired to do this. So there. Anyways. Here are your choices for whichever one attracts you the most. I chose 3 of these new pendulums that I have for my chakra readings, and I'm not going to tell you which stones they are. You just have to choose which one you're naturally drawn to. So this is number 1, number 2. I'll tap them just so you can see them because number 1 kind of blends. Number 2 and number 3. Bachelor number 3, as they say. So you can look at those for a moment, kind of see which one you feel drawn to, feel like, where you want to go with it. You can choose more than one if you choose to. You can come back and choose as many as you like later. You can watch this over again. I might do this if people enjoy it. I may do this on full moons. But this way, you're each going to get to ride along with me while I do this full moon in Cancer. And I'm doing it. I know the full moon is tomorrow night, guys, but you know that the power of the full moon is usually a few days before and a few days after. So I wanted to put this up so people had a chance to see it. And also they can, tap into it on the full moon and all of that. I was going to do it where I hung each one and put the cards in the tree, but that was a big pain in the ass because the cards kept falling out. Like I test ran and tried to put cards because I wanted it just to be completely dark, but with the illuminated tree, I thought it would be beautiful. And then placing the cards in the branches of the tree, but I'll figure that one out. So anyways, let's see. So hopefully you've decided. If you haven't decided on a pendulum, because I'm going to start to tell you what the stone represents for each group as I go. Put the video on pause. If you're watching live, you're just going to have to watch through the whole thing with me. But if you're not watching it live and you're watching it post it airing, and of course the dogs are here snoring, just put it on pause and go with it, whichever pendulum you're most drawn to. All right, so let's get started with group number 1. Now, group number 1, you guys have hematite, right? So this is group number 1 here, which would be this one. So if you chose this one, you chose hematite. And hematite's a very grounding stone. It's gray in color. I love it. It's really good for compassion. I'm sorry, not compassion, for self-esteem, magnetism, and empowerment. It helps to decrease negativity, and it can also bring about it helps with logical thinking, persistence, and mental focus, right? Okay, so those of you that chose that, let's see what your cards have to say. And I'll try and tie the stone in, but I don't know what the cards are. So if it makes sense, then it makes sense. We'll just see. So I was inspired to start with the Divine Doors deck, which I've worked with in the past. This is your doorway, guys. It's kind of dark, but it's sort of this stairway. I don't know how well you can see it. Let me see if I can get more light on it. It's this stairway coming up into the light. And when I paired the doorway with the stone, hematite, it being such a grounded stone, it being gray in color, and this doorway being so sort of dark, it feels like you guys are coming out of a year that maybe has been really hard for you. We're also thinking about this in terms of the full moon in Cancer. What do we maybe want to leave in 2020? What do we want to create in 2021? So this doorway, it is stairways up and towards the light. So to me, automatically, just interpreting from the imagery of this doorway, those of you that maybe chose this group, you might have feel like you've had a really rough year or maybe even a rough, few years. It's time to sort of step into the light. The desire is there, is kind of the feeling that I'm getting as I'm looking at this picture. The sort of the path is starting to come clear is my feeling, because we're seeing these stairs. The light is illuminating the stairs and it's leading us up and out. So let's read what the message is. Heart healing. Morning now has had its time. Do not pay it a single dime. Emerge from the darkness, a new day starts. Let light embrace the healing heart. So this is heart healing, guys. So that speaks to that kind of year that I feel like that staircase and the darkness of that door brings about. And remember, hematite, like I said, it's grounding, it wards off negativity, but it also is about, persistence and staying true to what you know and keeping you centered, right? So as we start to walk up the stairway and maybe reemerge, become vulnerable again, want to be seen again, Cancerian energy, right? This is the full moon in Cancer. It's an extremely emotional, psychic, in tune, nurturing sort of energy. So that would also be very in tune to this sort of heart healing energy too. All right, so now let's go to your next card. Because it's a full moon, pick a card. I decided to use a card from the Moonology deck. So you guys have new moon eclipse. So you guys expect powerful change. So when I look at this, I feel like when we're talking about this heart healing and we're talking about this stairway that we're going up towards this light and we're looking at the eclipse, the first thing that makes me think about is this period of maybe what was dark, right? What was blocking our light, what we couldn't necessarily connect to or see, or we didn't want to, we didn't feel like we should, or it wasn't the right time, whatever your reasoning was for that. It's starting to change. Again, we have light emanating from behind the eclipse. Eclipses are extremely powerful times. Energy can feel really like it can get a little bit haywire, but this change is definitely signified in the staircase. And I like that you guys chose the hematite to keep you guys kind of centered and grounded as you move forward through the changes that are to come. I feel like new moon is always about the building of more, right? The full moon is about releasing. So when I'm thinking about this full moon pick a card for you guys and you guys get the new moon card, it's like, okay, what do we get to let go of and leave in the past? Heal up our heart and move forward, and what do we get to create and like the sort of change we want to create to bring about something new. So I want to kick this dog out with the snoring, but sorry guys. All right, so it's interesting that you guys got heart healing too, because I used 3 different tarot decks for each pile, and the first deck that I chose to use was the Naked Heart Tarot. So, and I'm just gonna do shit. Sorry, guys. You gotta love a psychic that swears, right? So we have the Star. We have the 6 of Swords. If I can get it to stand up there with this damn tree. Come on. The Hanged Man. The Heart of Pentacles. This is like the King of Pentacles. Death, which would be transformation. That would be that deep change that we're seeing in that new moon card, new moon eclipse. It's touching that stone there. It's interesting that there's that green leaf and then the green stone is touching it. The Universe. The Magician. The 3 of Wands. And the Spirit of Cups. Whoops, sorry. Just close that just a little bit. Okay. So when I look at this, the star, like, I just want to look at the whole overall because I'm kind of trying to go quickly because I've never done a pick a card live. That's why I just flipped all these cards immediately. The star to me is that peaceful period after the tower, right? The star is one of my favorite cards of the deck. The star is Aquarian energy. With that Six of Swords too, that always signifies kind of moving to calmer waters and sort of taking care of oneself, kind of moving yourself away and out of the drama, mental turmoil, things of that nature. The Hanged Man, that's Piscean energy, and it can be also very much about emotions, similar to like the full moon in Cancer, but it's also very psychic. It can be a little bit indecisive, actually a lot indecisive. But the truth about the Hanged Man is that we have an opportunity to realize that we can release ourselves at any point in time once we clearly sort of make the decision. Pisces energy can be known to be a little bit indecisive just due to the two fishes swimming in opposite directions. It's the other duality along with Gemini. And so when we're looking at that energy, it's kind of natural to the Hanged Man to be like, oh, what do I do? What do I not do? We may not feel like we have all of the information just yet with that Hanged Man there. As I'm looking at, let me look at the second level. So King of Pentacles, the Death card in the universe. I almost want to say, and this is sort of where I'm going with these first two tiers of cards, I get a distinct feeling that some of you need to make or bring about major change, that the change that we see here in this new moon eclipse. It could be in romantic relationships. It could be in things that, and then the reason why I say romantic relationships is that heart healing takes me to that place. Also, sort of the star. It just feels like there could be something where we need to separate ourselves from something that we care deeply about. Let's say that. I wouldn't say romance because it could be maybe a familiar, maybe it's a family member or a friendship, something that has we've been questioning. It hasn't quite worked out. We're not sure why. That would be that Hanged Man energy. The King of the Heart of Pentacles, or this King of Pentacles, this bison right here. To me, this is sort of that hematite energy. This is about us providing for ourselves. This is about us taking the reins and doing it for ourselves. Sort of being our own kind of father figure, our own sort of wealth bringer in a way. Hematite to me also is very, it being so grounding, and that Pentacles energy, that's also why they tie together. The Death card is the transformation that needs to take place. And when I look at that card, there's that little butterfly in the hands of the skeleton, right? And so to me, from that death comes this transformation, comes this growth, this opportunity. From this change, whatever we usher in, and I feel like we need to usher it in. That's why we have that Heart of Pentacles card there. He's going to go out and he's going to get it. He's going to, this group needs to assure, also with the Six of Swords too, that's about moving away from one's from whatever's not serving us, right? If it's thoughts that aren't serving us, if it's situations or people, it's about us seeking the peace of the star, getting out of the tree of the Hanged Man, so to speak, moving towards providing for ourselves in a stable and productive manner, right? Amidst extreme change. Easier said than done, but I feel like the payoff is huge with that universe card, right? The universe to me is this opportunity where it can be abundant, everything can work for us as long as we sort of line up with it and we really truly believe it and we see it through. But I feel like there's kind of like a strange rite of passage that's happening for you guys. It could be through 2021. That's this Death card in the center of all of this. Remember, death is inevitable. Fighting it only creates more pain. And I kind of feel like this group has already had enough pain previous to this, that the sooner and the easier you just relax, ease into it, and continue to kind of face things, the sooner kind of the universe can arrive and give you what you need, right? Once it shows up, the way that this story feels like it's playing out for me is that we then become empowered like the magician. And the magician has all of his faculties about him. When I was originally laying out these cards, I kind of had this idea of doing the three tiers, in essence, the mind, body, spirit. I don't feel like there's a separation per se with you guys as far as like a clear line of mind, clear line of body, clear line of spirit, or whatever. But I do feel this mind, body, spirit connection happening here through these bones of the magician, right? The magician always has this infinity symbol, the ability to be like pure raw creation, creative energy. Again, we're talking about powerful change, the opportunity to do that. I get this funny feeling that maybe a few months into 2021, this group will be feeling rather whole again or restored again, able to kind of like take action, look for what it is they want. I mean, through this eye, they're maybe you're seeing things through a new lens, right? Or through a new viewpoint where the change that's taken place or the transformation from the death that needed to happen, wherever that death is, right? If it's a relationship, if it's a job, if it's something that's, and let me tell you this, it may be something that's very familiar and comfortable. We know we need to leave. We might be a little bit fearful. That's that hangman energy. We're like, oh, if I take this out of my space, what am I left with? But you'll be left with so much more, say a month or two after, is kind of the feeling that I'm getting. Because this magician speaks to the idea of these three bones are really pulling me in this place of, oh, wow, we're lined up and we're ready to like see this now. Like we're ready to do this. We're ready to make it happen. And we feel empowered, right? We feel we've got the sort of the power of the universe kind of backing us up and moving along with us. Then we get into this Three of Wands energy, which Three of Wands is all about sort of wands being the element of fire and spirit, right? It is about taking action and being creative. And the Three of Wands, to me, there's a great analogy that another reader uses that I love how she sums up the Two and the Three of Wands. She says the Two of Wands is placing the order, the Three of Wands is sort of waiting for it to come in, right? So it's that idea of kind of knowing that the work that you're doing here with the power of this magician and whatever sort of you've seen yourself through, say in the last maybe year or 2 years or whatever, you're ready and prepared to move forward into these creations or this change that's taken place. It's ready to bring you whatever it is. Also, I will say this too, that hematite stone being so much about perseverance, about kind of grounding, and the King of Pentacles or the Heart of Pentacles in this deck, she calls it the Heart of Pentacles. It's about creating, and it's interesting that the heart is in here and we've got heart healing, and this is the Sacred Heart Tarot. I didn't know there was going to be so much heart stuff in here, but it takes me to this place of this group might be creating their heart's desire this year or working on that. And so we want to leave behind whatever kind of doesn't serve us anymore, right? It be that relationships, be that indecision, doubt, anxieties. As best we can, let those things go, and as best we can, lean into the change. And the change will be certainly obvious because that death card, you'll see it when it comes, guys. You might already even be in it. You might already know about it, right? But it's about ushering in sort of not only the peace of the star, but also the creative power of the magician so that we can move ourselves forward. We end out at the Spirit of Cups, and I just want to double check because it's been a while since I've worked with this deck. And Cups is a beautiful energy to end out on, right? It's the emotions, but I want to make sure if the Spirit is the Knight. I can't remember, so let me just look really quick. Sorry, guys, because they call them the Innocence and the. So the Innocence is the Page. Movement of Wands is the Knight. The Heart. Oh, so that's the Queen of Wands. Sorry, the Heart of Pentacles is the Queen. Oh, the Spirit of Wands is the King. Okay, sorry, slight detour. Back up. So this is Queen of Pentacles energy. Still really nurturing, really lovely. Ties in beautifully to full moon and Cancer energy in the sense that Cancer is a very mothering sort of sign, right? And the Queen of Pentacles would be very much that earth mother, giver, goddess, provider, making material things happen, but also being really in tune to our emotional barometer while doing so, right? So that connects in. I guess I got King because it's, that bison isn't very feminine looking to me. So we end out on the King of Cups, but the King of Cups is like full on heart healing, guys, in the sense that he is sort of like loved up, personified. I love the whale imagery. It's like we're in our emotions, we're feeling again, we're relishing them. They are where we're most at home, right? With this whale. So I kind of also like the contrast, or not contrast, but the similarity of how we have that blue of the star, the sign of Aquarius, it being the water bearer, right? And by the end of this cycle, or whatever it is that we're working towards or on this year, we get the water bearer, or what we seek in this star energy. We actually receive and we're able to swim in as the King of Cups by the end of this cycle. To me, the King of Cups would be healed in his heart chakra. He would be connected emotionally. He would be feeling the wonders and the pleasures of, everything that he's done and created, and expressing that love freely. And that to me is also the coming up out of that darkness of the stairway, right, into the light, and owning who we are emotionally. So there are 3 groups. Maybe one group is the mind, the body, and the spirit. I don't know, but I know that there's a connection to all of this. I see that here for you guys. I kind of get, and it's also here in these wands too. So to me, and I'm not going to play this out like months because it's only 9 cards, but to me, it looks like we might have, I just get a feeling that like in a few months' time, you guys are going to be feeling really like on your game and making it happen in whatever way that shapes up for you, whatever way that, however that turns out, like whatever, I hope that makes sense. Like whatever it is that you desire, I really, really think that this group can begin to get about creating it once they get themselves into this state of, I can provide, I can take care of myself, I can get through whatever changes need to take place, and I can be in almost the driver's seat. And from there, we're able to sort of take ownership. I am going to throw these dogs out really quick because they are way asleep. Hold on one second. Guys, come on, let's go out here and sleep in the hall. I'm going to just shut the door. I'll probably hear you snoring through the door. Come on. I love you. I know, but let me just do this really quick. Okay, sorry about that, guys. So that is group number 1. I will say this, I love the hematite as far as keeping you grounded, keeping you steady as you work through these emotions. I think that that's beautiful. I think that the opportunity to really feel productive and creative is here for this group. And I hope that if you have had a hard time, right, in say previous years or whatever, know that it all sort of, I feel like looking at these cards and the way that they're laid out and what's being said here, or what I sort of sense from these cards, is that ultimately all of it will have served a purpose, and it will, like looking back in hindsight, the beauty that I see in these last 3 cards to me feel like you'll understand your true strength, your true beauty, your true ability to sort of own who you are at the end, not at the end of all of this, because it never ends, right, until we die. But you know what I'm saying? Like, you'll be able to look back and go, oh, okay, I get it now. And I'm in such a better place. So I hope that gets you guys, I hope you experience that. It really looks like there's an opportunity for that. And thank you so much for tuning in. If you like the video, please, if you're watching on YouTube, give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends. Subscribe to the channel if you feel so inclined. And I now will move on to group 2. All right. Thank you, guys. Okay, so let me clear these off. Sorry, I've never done this live before. I don't think I've done the pick a card live. All right, let me get these out of here. That was nice. All right. Really powerful too. They've probably already left. Lots of major arcana in that reading. Now, if we get, because I use a separate tarot deck in each reading, we could get a lot of similar cards. So we'll see what happens. Let me put these away really quick. And tell me if you guys are enjoying these style. I'll do them for you on full moons if you guys really enjoy them. So the next group number two. You guys picked the green stone, which I know is aventurine. Aventurine is stone of fortune, luck and prosperity, chance and opportunity, right? It aligns external conditions to match your desires and can bring you what you truly seek. All right. I also like this color of stone just because it kind of made me think of the heart chakra, but I don't want to get too much into heart stuff because that seemed to be the previous reading. Now, this is your guys' doorway. So let's see where you're going. What I first saw when I looked at this doorway, to me, it's a long hall. I'm sorry that the lighting is so weird. That's better, slightly. It's my camera's up high to try and get everything in the frame. So it's this long hallway. Let me see. Can you guys see that? There we go. It's a long hallway with a bunch of series of doors. And the first thing that I thought is, oh, this group is repeating patterns. Like that was the first thing that came into my mind, like as I was looking at it. I haven't looked at the back yet, but I feel like maybe some of you guys might have been dealing with the same thing over and over again, is just sort of the initial thing. There is an opportunity to maybe break free of that. And that was sort of the luck that I felt like might be associated with the aventurine, is sort of like our final break or our final like opportunity to be like, oh yay, I'm out of that pattern, or oh yay, I don't have to repeat that anymore. So let's see what it says though. This is passages. Spiritual signs of inclination. You're walking through passages of your transformation. Okay, interesting. So let's see what goes on with your cards. So now you guys, your Moonology card. Here we go. All right. A lot of new moon energy. This is new moon in Libra. So a new romantic cycle begins. So that's lovely. That's about balance too. The sign of Libra would definitely be about balance. Libra's a really lovely sign and definitely could be associated with romance. We'll see what the cards come out. This could be about romance with ourselves, guys, as far as it's kind of the feeling that I'm getting when I'm looking at this through passages of your transformation. In essence, we might be able to find more balance in how we see ourselves. Again, new moon, we're in a full moon right now. We want to release during full moon. New moon would be about maybe creating things in a balanced manner, maybe not necessarily being, well, we'll see what the cards are, but I have a feeling, I have a feeling that maybe this crew needs to slow their roll a little bit. I don't know. We'll see. All right. So for you guys, I used the Mystical Dream Tarot. So let's see what we've got for your cards. The Three of Cups, the Hierophant. Get in there. Stay, dude. The Nine of Swords. Oh, come on, lady, get up there. Hold on, sorry guys. This is a little too elaborate of a set for me, I think. All right. Okay, the Hierophant is being a pill, and I'm live. Get up in there, dude. There we go. I just also wanted you guys to be able to see all the cards too. The Lady of Swords. The Spirit of Cups. The Ace of Swords. The Five of Wands. The Moon Chariot. And the Lady of Cups. Interesting, because we had the King of Cups as the ending for the last reading, and now we have like the Queen of Cups for this reading. All right, so let me look at this really quick. All right, I'm going to say this. right out of the gate, when I'm just sort of looking at the design of all of this stuff, I feel like there is this kind of push-pull going on, and it does feel a little bit air energy to me. It's that Ace of Swords, the Queen of Swords, the new moon in Libra, all of that, and the Hierophant kind of, even though he's more Virgo energy, but it feels he's very much about like higher learning, knowledge, brain stuff. We also have the Nine of Swords up in the high corner there. To me, I feel like this could be about us fighting, this group fighting within themselves mentally. Remember, we had those sort of doorways, right, that they were passaging through, right? And to me, I kept thinking when I saw that like, oh, this group keeps repeating maybe bad behaviors or patterns that they're trying to break free from, that they're trying to balance out, that they're trying to find a better alternative for them, right? And I think that you will at some point. It just feels like a little bit of a roller coaster. The Three of Cups is always this sort of beneficial, lovely, celebratory energy, right? And we kick off with that. And that's where I feel like you guys could be a little bit, I don't want to say excessive, but I kind of get this feeling where it's back and forth, because we've got the Three of Cups in one space and then the Hierophant next, where it feels like 1 minute we're all out there like, woo, let's party, let's have a good time. Oh, I want to be out in the world. And then the next minute we're like sort of more staid, more reserved, more practical, trying to sort of ground ourselves or be serious about what it is we're doing. The Nine of Swords would be a little bit about nightmares, fears, anxieties, worries. It could be, fears or anxieties that we have about ourselves or about others in our lives. But to me, sometimes when you think about nightmares, they can sometimes not necessarily always be real, right? Let me just look at this for 1 minute. Spirit of Cups. I want to look and make sure that I'm reading the Spirit of Cups correctly too. Just as far as what, where's her book? Give me 1 moment, guys. Because that Spirit of Cups to me feels like we have a moment of transformation happening there. The way that she is in that butterfly screams transformation right in the middle of this reading. And it's also the piece that's sort of touching the adventuring, similar to the Death, actually. Y'all, did you pick more than one group? Is this the same people from group 1? Hold on, let me just see here. Spirit of Cups. I just want to make sure whether it's the page or what. So we've got the 10 of Pentacles. Oh, so it's like the Knight. So it's Dreamer, Spirit, Lady, and Lord. Okay. So would be the Knight of Pentacles. Or sorry, not the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Cups. So that's a very kind of romantic card in the center there. But I feel like the Knight of Cups can represent sort of romance. But let me set that down. All right. I feel like, and let me explain to you what's going on here. I feel like this is your pivot point. This is where you go inward and you find the answers. You find the clarity that comes out of the Ace of Swords. I almost feel like when I'm looking at this might be a wise woman of some sort that kind of helps you to go inward. Swords would represent the air element, Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. Doesn't have to be, but it could be a woman of that, a more analytical thinker that would maybe sort of help you to find some sort of clarity. To me, this first row feels a bit like a toss-up, like we don't know where to fit in. There might be a little bit, I don't know why, but I feel like there's a little bit of excess with this Three of Cups, where I feel like sometimes we go overboard too much. The reason why I'm saying that is we have this sort of cycle of where we want to start to create more balance in our life, right? More of this also mental balance. And that's where I feel like we're suffering from that a little bit with that Nine of Swords. This lady or situation that allows us to have a little bit more of a clearer mind, a little bit more of maybe making clearer decisions, helps us to sort of go inward to transform in some way on a deeper level. This woman being in this sort of incubation stage, she looks like a child almost, or a fetus in there. She's coming about sort of understanding herself. To me, Spirit of Cups being a knight, knights are always about like doing service, in my opinion. They're always about sort of doing the right thing for the right reasons. Sometimes they can be a little bit, certain cards can be a little bit iffy, but the Knight of Cups is usually very honorable, very a little bit on the emotional side, but there could be some emotional work that needs to take place that might help you to sort of get the clarity that you seek. And I feel like that comes through this Ace of Swords, or yeah, this Ace of Swords. And it's almost like the same woman that we see here is standing here behind her sword, naked and vulnerable, yet she has this sort of snake of transmutation around her, right? Where she's cracked the egg, she's solved the problem, she's in the light, she's in her awareness, she's in her intelligence, she's trusting herself. She's not like cloaked here in whatever heaviness is in that Nine of Swords. Do you see that woman up there cloaked, right? So she's kind of, in a way, this group, we get to some point where we've gone inward on some level emotionally, and we come out aware mentally. Okay, so if the other group was all about the heart, this group is all about the mind, for sure. We come out the other side with a better understanding mentally, either about ourselves or our situation, our life, what we need, what we want, that sort of a thing. Now, Five of Wands can be a bit of a scuffle, or like, sometimes it can be a bit of, sort of I don't know, competitive kind of energy. This drawing here to me is always interesting because it's this Chinese boat and they're trying to wrestle in this fish. And I love this drawing because to me, it always makes me think about like, what is it that we want? What is it that we desire? Because it's wands, right? Which would be about taking action and desire and struggling to maybe get that fish or that the big catch and reel it in. That's how the art on this card, what it makes me think about, right? We have to be sort of true to ourselves, and before we can attempt to go after that, gift or opportunity, whatever this fish sort of represents to me, like, or to you, I mean, we need to have that clarity. I feel like that clarity will come through these three cards, right? It may be initiated from an outside situation or from a person. That's the Lady of Swords or the Queen of Swords. So what I mean by that is there might be a situation we find ourselves in where we are expected to act. We have to be decisive. We have to be clear. We have to be analytical. We have to sort of trust ourselves. If it's not an outside person and it is a situation, that's going to maybe trigger off this event that puts us into this state of reflection, emotional sort of self-care. That was sort of the vibe that I'm getting, at least from the drawing. And also, this being a full moon in Cancer, pick a card. Full moon in Cancer would be about that kind of energy, that emotive kind of taking care of oneself, going back to the baby stage and mothering ourselves through it, healing ourselves through it. We have the Moon Chariot. So this to me represents the sort of, I believe this is the Chariot card, correct? I can't grab that book again. I believe it's the Chariot. I want to make sure though, because I haven't worked with this deck in ages either. It is Major Arcana though, because she has yeah, it is the Chariot. That's right. Chariot is Cancerian energy, so that's beautiful. And I love that if we look here, these cards have kind of transformed into this pink and blue background. Do you see where they're kind of color-wise? There's this sort of muted blue tones and grays, and then we move through sort of from this into this darkness and this blue, right? But then we get to this black, which is the sort of our truth, right? There could be some shadow work involved here in this Knight of Cups time. And from that, we come out sort of victorious, aware, transmuting, through the passages of this transformation, right? That's what this says here. We come out on the other side with this awareness where we can stand vulnerable, like this woman is naked behind the truth of her sword. She knows who she is. She's able to deal with anything. At that point, we can then sort of deal with the challenges around us that may, challenge us around the goals or dreams or aspirations that we have. But we're ready to kind of go in and go after it. That would be the Chariot energy too, right? That moving towards that. The chariot, it's always very celebratory. It's always very, it's associated with the sign of Cancer. So it's going to be fast moving, but it's also going to be, you want to bring in that nurturing Cancerian energy too. We see that also reflected here in the Lady of Cups, the Queen of Cups. She's all about love, emotions, honoring that, tapping into that. So I feel like we have an opportunity here to own a piece of ourselves, or connect with a piece of ourselves and own it so fully that it transforms, how we are in our world, how we connect to our world, how quickly we are able to move throughout our world. That would be the Chariot's energy too. And I feel like there's also this interesting thing where how we have these pink and blues here, and this Five of Wands usually is kind of like this weird energy, right? It's sort of like it can be about friendly competition, or annoyance, that sort of thing. And so to me, the Moon, Chariot, and Lady of Cups both being positioned here make me feel like there also might be an opportunity where you guys are able to sort of, I feel like they're looking back to the past, but they're looking back at the past through eyes that are more emotionally whole and complete, and they're kind of okay with it, right? I almost feel like there's some opportunity here from whatever work this group does mentally. You will heal your past, or whatever you have dealt with in the past that maybe wasn't that was a challenge for you. Does that make sense? So I feel like that Five of Wands has a dual meaning. I feel like, yes, there are challenges this year for you, potentially. There'll be things that you will rise to, certainly with this Ace of Swords here. I don't feel like there's a problem with that. But what I do feel like is, as you get further into this depth of understanding and emotional well-being and moving towards that, like relating to the world in that way, moving through the world in that way, like the Chariot, the Moon Chariot would have, this Five of Wands, I feel like we're able to reflect back to the past and be okay with it, right? And that also brings about this sort of balance that we see here in this new moon in Libra, where we want sort of maybe a new start, a fresh start, something that's more balanced, where we feel it's equitable with us, right? We're no longer in fear. We're no longer, I even feel like I'm maybe not giving that Hierophant enough attention either, but I feel like sometimes when we try and take the high road or do the right thing, we feel restrained. I feel like that Hierophant, and that's not necessarily, I mean, he's about social sort of behavior and institutions and things like that, higher learning, that sort of thing. But to me, I feel like when I'm looking at that, sitting next to that Three of Cups, I feel like right now, or maybe in the recent past, you guys have been a little bit push-pull between the roles that you have to play in your world. And that's the Three of Cups, where there's high highs, and then the Hierophant is not necessarily a low low, but I feel like when I'm looking at these cards, he feels restricted to me, or this group might carry too much responsibility, and you don't necessarily feel as though you maybe know how to handle that responsibility. That's the Nine of Swords, right? We're although the Hierophant would know, that's the thing. So is there something that we're telling ourselves in that Nine of Swords that doesn't enable us to believe? I almost feel like that Hierophant, some of you in this group might have a little bit of social pressure on you, or responsibility. Like, I don't know why, but I'm feeling like maybe some of you take care of relatives, or maybe that's your role in the world, where you have to be ultra responsible at times. And so it's kind of like this, going from this indulgent, wonderful, like maybe even overindulgent Three of Cups energy into the Hierophant. And it's like you live like almost a dual lifestyle that you don't feel like is authentic to who you are. Hence, that creates the Nine of Swords energy, where maybe this doubt, this worry, this if people only knew kind of energy. But the truth is that it's a kind of like what you need to know about yourself. And I love this Queen of the Lady of Swords here. She has this sort of beam coming up out of the top of her head in her knowing, right? In her crown chakra. There's almost like flames coming off the top of it. And so it's like we need to own what we know to be true. And we do that through going inward and doing sort of the emotional work and knowing ourselves so truthfully, so honestly, that we need no sort of what's the word? We need no like walls up anymore kind of thing. And when we do that, when we shed that, right, we're able to get to sort of not only dealing with the challenges that we may face in the day-to-day world with a different sort of perception of things, because this pink blue sky matchup that's happening here in these two cards really make me feel like towards the end of this cycle, however long this cycle may be for some of you, and let me say this too to all of you that picked this group, these cycles will be different. Some of you, this could be a 6-month cycle. Some of this could be a 3-month cycle. But you're going to get to a state where you're feeling more in tune, more able to move freely, more sort of emotionally fulfilled. Like it's like everything is like coming up roses here. And this is the romance that we see in this new romantic cycle begins, right? So, but we have to kind of go through the transformative process to get there. But the new moon is already calling out. The new moon in Libra is already saying like, okay, we're bringing on this pink sky. Do you see like the pink here and then the pink here towards the end of however long this cycle may take you? All right, so I hope that makes sense, you guys. This is for group number 2. I'm going to pull down these cards now and do group number 3. And you guys will have to, again, let me know if these make sense or if you enjoy them. And please hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed them, and share them with your friends if you like. Okay, let me get these. And now the last group, last but not least, is group 3. Oh God, why do I get so hungry when I read? It's crazy. My stomach just gets like nuts. All right, so let's see here. All right, so for group 3, you guys chose the red jasper. So this was your pendulum up here, and this was red jasper, which I kind of associate with the first 2 chakras. I believe it's associated with the second chakra, but I also associate it because of the red color with the first chakra. But let's see, because it's assertion, balance, and confidence. And then it would connects your dreams, ideals, and ideas with down-to-earth realism and allows you to transform your life with self-belief, assertive power, and to stay in harmony with others. It says it also bestows you with the courage and determination to transform initial ideas into practical action. All right, so beautiful. Let's see what we've got going on here. Now, this is your guys' door. And I mean, your guys' door is pretty. I feel like, yes, it's red jasper. I get it. And it is lower chakra, but I feel like this is my Taurians. I don't know why, but I feel like my Taurians are going to be in this group. This door just screams Taurus to me for some reason. It's like beautiful down, what's the word I want to say? Like, it's sort of understated opulence, you know, like definitely Taurian energy. Like I'm going to lay here on this couch and just eat the fuck out of this pizza. And I am going to love every minute of it. It's strong. It's sturdy. It's just beautiful, right? It's got this richness to it, but a simplicity also. And I associate that Taurus energy. I don't know why. All right. So, but that's neither here nor there. So I would say that this group, I don't know. I feel like this is a really happy group. I feel like this door is well cared for. I feel like this group has been through its fair shares of sort of ups and downs, but it doesn't let it get down. If that makes any sense at all, that's kind of the vibe. Like I feel like this, if this makes any sense, It feels like a happy door to me. Yeah, it's a little weathered, but you know, it's pretty and we're okay. We're doing all right. We're strong, we're sturdy, we got this. That's kind of the vibe that I get from this door. So let's see what it says. A stranger's grace. Ego fears of the sudden danger, but never underestimate the kindness of a loving stranger. Interesting. So we'll see how that plays into this. Y'all need to be careful when you're in the park. That's all I'm saying. All right. So stranger's grace. All right. So your guys's Moonology card. Let's look. We have step out of your comfort zone, North Node. The North Node, I believe, is associated with the soul's purpose, if I remember correctly. I'm not going to read the book definition because this video's gone on really long. But when I look at this, when it's saying step out of your comfort zone, and then we have a stranger's grace happening here, I would say open yourself up, guys. This group needs to have a little bit more fun. It's interesting, too. This is a stately and beautiful door, and it's a happy-go-lucky door in a way, but the door is shut. Do you see that? Oh, sorry, my hand's in the way of the light. The door is shut. Let's open up that door. I mean, you know, carefully. We are in a pandemic, folks. So, like, you know, open up the door, but make sure that there's fencing 6 feet out or something. But what I'm saying is this stranger's grace talks about like sort of the opportunity of the kindness of a loving stranger. Never underestimate the kindness of a loving stranger. So there might be something of a surprise for this group that we don't see coming if we step out of our comfort zone. Okay, that's kind of the feeling that I get. And the idea with the North Node is I feel like this surprise could be a little bit exciting at a very deep level. Does that make sense? Because North Node to me, I'm going to just say it's associated with the soul's purpose. So as we open our door or we put ourselves out there and we open ourselves to new opportunities, new people, there could be something very beneficial for this group is kind of the feeling that I'm getting. We'll see what plays out in the tarot cards. And so for this group, I chose the Ethereal Visions Illuminated Tarot. And I love this deck. It's very pretty. And so it kind of fits nicely with the door too. So let's look, we have the Death card. Boom. Okay. Hi, our good friend Death. The Magician. Boom. Come on now. Oh, these are too tall. Is it going to stay? Hold on 1 second. I got to set these down. This is what I need to do. Up. Up, tree. Come on. Make me look good here now. The Magician. I love the art on these cards. The Knight of Cups. That could be your stranger from A Stranger's Grace. Let's look at the Magician, though. The Ace of Wands. Oh, shit. Y'all's in trouble. The Chariot. Judgment. The Two of Swords. The Page of Swords. And the Six of Wands. Interesting. I feel like this group could be having some romance issues this cycle, okay? And again, I said this to the last group, and I didn't say it to the first group, but I don't know, you know, whatever, they'll figure it out. Each one of you that chose this group, you could be in a cycle that could last at any point in time, right? It could be, you know, a 3-month cycle for some of you in this group. It could be a 6-month cycle for some of you. I don't necessarily dictate how long this process is, but I'll tell you sort of the story that I see in these cards and what I kind of think is going on here. So the Death card is Scorpio energy, right? Scorpio's sex, death, and regeneration. And to me, the Death card being in this position, because we saw it in the first group in the center, right, where the Adventurine is touching. And I don't know why. I didn't plan for this Adventurine to be touching everything, but I feel like this card is kind of significant for each reading. Death was definitely transformative, or the a big piece of the first reading, and then the incubus stage that the second reading had was very important. This is the Chariot, which is Cancerian energy for this full moon in Cancer reading, right? So I feel like that's also significant. So let me get into this really quick. Death is Scorpio energy. I feel like you guys are, the death here in this case is about stepping outside of your comfort zone, about challenging yourself in whatever way you need to push your limits, push your boundaries, push your levels of sort of comfort in a way that's healthy, guys. What I mean by that is because it's the North Node, which I associate with the spirit, right? Would be about maybe going online and doing a dating service online where you go on Zoom dates or something. I don't know, just something that's safe, that's productive, but it's also transformative, and that's what I mean. We're allowing something to die off or change or transform. And death is a sort of a permanent thing. It's never a bad thing, though. It's this opportunity for something that's no longer maybe working for us to kind of fall away and something new to be born in its place. So that's kind of what I feel. And I feel like for this group, it's going to happen early on, right? If you decide to step out of your comfort zone. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting. The Magician to me is all about creative energy, and it's about opportunity. I feel like this could be you guys in this group feeling empowered from having made the transformation or having chosen something different for yourself, right? You feel empowered. You might experience some really interesting results right at first, right? You might feel like, oh, this is better than I thought it was, is kind of the feeling that I'm getting from this Magician. You might find yourself having fun. I kind of feel like this could be the romance reading too. Like as far as out of the three, I'm definitely getting a little bit of romance, like not even a little bit, a lot of romance vibes from these cards. It might just be the art style, but with that Ace of Wands there, the Six of Wands, even the Knight of Cups to me, and Chariot could be that, a little bit of that too, celebratory and Cancerian and all of that. It feels like there could be some romance for this group, or it's about maybe, and also the Stranger's Grace card to me, it's about opening ourselves up to new people, new friends, new dating possibilities, just be open to it. As you do that, I feel like the power of the Magician, or whatever newfound kind of creativity, opportunity, prowess that we come across with us, we attract to us potentially this Knight of Cups. This card can represent a water sign for some of you. It doesn't have to be. It can be male or female, but it would be maybe a Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio. It'd be associated with the water signs, but it could just be somebody that's, upstanding, emotionally available. They, want to connect with you. Now, on the opposite side of the spectrum, if this card represents you, this could be you feeling this way, feeling ready, maybe not quite ready. The Knight has quite a bit of armor on. So we might be, ready to lift up our shield over our face and go, okay, I'll go out there a little bit and put our foot out there. But it's the sort of the fieriness and the passion and the creativity of the Magician that triggers that off if this card represents for us. To me, the Ace of Wands could be, desire personified, like boom, like very clear. It's a hit, we're off, we're running, and then we're into that Chariot energy, which to me speaks to, like, again, emotional connectivity, moving forward in a very maybe swift manner. For some of you, I kind of get a vibe that this could represent you guys jumping into something rather quickly, okay? And the reason why I say that is because this Judgment card comes out. Judgment to me is a little dicey. I believe Judgment is... it's Scorpio, I think, which we see in Death, which is also, a water sign similar to Cancer. This is a full moon in Cancer. So Judgment can be like a truth coming out. And the reason why I say that is because then it's followed by this Two of Swords and the Page of Swords. And to me, The Two of Swords can be about not being able to see a situation very clearly, or not being able to make a clear decision, feeling like you're at a crossroads or unable to sort of decide. Maybe you feel like you don't have all of the information, or it might be that mentally in the back of your mind, you're feeling like, can I trust this guy? Is he really doing me the right way? That sort of a thing. The Page of Swords, pages always are about opportunities to learn, right? That's how I view them. That's, maybe not a standard tarot definition, but that's how I view them. There's usually an optimism and an enthusiasm amongst the pages, right? And so I think about, I've also heard analogies of the page sometimes being about, there could be a potential person that isn't telling all of the truth. So I will say that only because that Judgment card is up here, which makes me feel like either a truth needs to be revealed or found out. So where I'm going with this, or where I feel like these cards are taking me, is that for those of you that do get into something, it might be hot and heavy very early on. Once it finally kicks off, it'll be intense, it'll feel real, it'll feel really good. Then there's going to be something, the Judgment card says to me, something sort of comes out, something that, or you might not feel like you know everything, or that you have all the information. And the only reason why I say that is because that Two of Swords sits there. And so this Page of Swords could represent this stranger's grace coming clean with you, telling you what you need to know so that you can make a clear decision. I don't get a bad vibe from the Page of Swords. I feel like, to be honest, I feel like, and this might only be for a specific person that watches this video, or maybe a few of you, to be honest, what I'm feeling like is this Page of Swords is this person telling you some sort of truth that in the end, it's not horrible, right? In the end, it's okay. It sort of frees you or opens you up to the opportunity of being present or available to be in this sort of relationship. And then we end with this Six of Wands, which to me is always about like fiery, wonderful celebration. I mean, he's parading around on his horse. So to me, I want to say, like, try not to overreact, try not to throw the baby out with the bathwater to this group. That there could be something very significant. For those of you that, let's say some of you pick this card and you're like, wait, I've got a husband. I'm not going to go on no Zoom dates. Like, I don't, what are you talking about? Right? For those of you, this could be, like, I'm trying to attribute this to something other than romance, but to me, this feels romantic. So for those of you that aren't necessarily seeking romance, let me try and ultimately, the way that I would play these cards out is there is a opportunity for you to make, maybe to gain awareness and make clearer decisions in your life that will bring about a sense of well-being, and you'll learn something in the process, is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. I mean, I'm trying to break that down so that it's palatable for other people that may not be seeking romance. To me, I kind of feel like this is, I don't know why, but I'm stuck on this, y'all are gonna meet somebody, but you have to be willing to meet them first. And that's the Death card. Like, that death transformation needs to happen. Like, you need to like get over or drop whatever limiting belief. Like, I'm looking at the Death card and I feel like he's leaning over going like, let me show you. I feel like he's whispering to me. He's like, oh girl, they don't want me, girl. No. And it's like, to me, that's what you need to sort of let go, is those limiting self-beliefs. Open up to the power of the magician, the power of creative thinking, the power of like harnessing all of your attributes and utilizing them towards the creation of something exciting. If that's not romance for some of you, then whatever it is that you want, that magician is key in the creation of that. And then let's say we shift into that Knight of Cups energy, which would be about putting our heart into it, doing it for the right reasons, being like steadfast in our attempts. The Ace of Wands is about that pure, unadulterated sort of desire and the inspiration to move forward, to take action, to be inspired, to go after what it is we want. That Chariot in the center, hitting that adventuring, which is that luck and prosperity stone, is telling me that, like, okay, when we feel it and we know it, we can move forward and have it. This is for those of you that aren't looking for romance. And for those of you that are, you could still attribute this to romance. Judgment to me isn't necessarily a bad thing in regards to that. To me, it could be, just truth coming forward that shines a light on something so that we're more aware, so that we understand. And again, there's another transformation that would take place because we're talking Scorpio energy there. I believe it's Scorpio energy. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it is. And then, we seek a little bit further clarity so that we can make an informed decision in this Two of Swords energy. But ultimately, we will learn how to do so. We may be tentative at first. We might be a little bit nervous at first, but we'll do it and we will be successful with it. And then those of you that are looking for romance, watch out. I think that it could happen. I'm going to say this. I don't feel like it's the most smoothest love affair. I feel like when I'm looking at this, it happens pretty quickly. It comes on like a barn on fire, and it moves nicely and emotionally is connected with that Chariot in the center. Maybe, we back off out of fear or something. That might be the resurgence of this energy that we see here in this death. Because if this is Scorpio and Scorpio, it could be, fears of past relationships or fears of things that like sort of lurk, that challenge us or scare us. So we start to feel like confused and not sure. And what are they doing? Are they treating me like my past one? But again, we need to step out of our comfort zone. And as we step out of that comfort zone, we're able to move forward. All of this, and now it's just keying in and tapping into this. It ends on the Six of Wands energy, which is great. But I just realized too, it's red jasper stone, which to me is the second chakra, right? So that is our sensuality and sexuality and that sort of connection too. And our dreams are in there also. So that's an interesting tie into this stone, meaning that I do think that this reading is about romance in some way for a lot of you. And whether or not you're able to trust that, to trust another, to be vulnerable to them. And that's the reason why I say vulnerable to them is this stranger's grace part. I feel like the stranger or the person that you might get involved with, if it does happen for you, is the scary piece for you. But I feel like in the end, like this to me is the stranger too. I feel like the stranger shows up in two different places in this reading. They show up here in the Page of Swords and they show up in the Knight of Cups. So I feel like when they come on and they're like, you notice them and they're like, boom. And you may not trust it right at first. You're like, I don't know, because we might still have some of this stuff that is dying off for us, some doubt, some fear. But this says to me, no, it doesn't hold out for very long. Like even he's presenting this wand, but there's like flowers on it. So to me, it's almost like the Knight of Cups, like handing you a bunch of flowers and going like, and then you're like, boom, all right, let's do this. You move into that Chariot energy, which to me is all about sort of emotional connection with that Cancerian vibe to it. All right, so that is this group's reading. I hope that makes sense. Again, cycles will be different for different people. So this could be out there for you if you are willing to step out of your comfort zone, listen to your spirit a little bit more as to what you can and desire to do. That would definitely be in the North Node and in the Magician. What does your spirit desire? And begin about opening up to that, and then letting in the vulnerability that comes with this stranger's grace. Does that make sense? Like, again, we'll go back to this. Like, let's open that door, group 3. Let's open that door. so that we can step out into the comfort zone, out of our comfort zone, into something that might be new and fun, albeit a little bit challenging. But I kind of feel like the challenge is within our mind. It's here, a little bit in the judgment card. It's interesting. So the way that I thought this would work out, well, so the second group was more mental. I feel like this group, even though it is about love, this group feels physical to me. Does that make sense? So the first group was all about the heart and their healing, which to me was about spirit. The second group was more about the mind. So to me, it was about mental energy. This to me, even though it's love, that red jasper and this idea of coming together feels more about like the second chakra or a lower chakra, which would be more about the experience of that. Also, the Ace of Wands could be the physical desire of that. And we see also the physicality of, you know, sort of death. And the wand, I don't know. I just feel like this could be more of a, I don't know, like I feel like this is a barn fire romance. Not, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but like, it's like it comes out of nowhere and you're like, oh shit, what do I do? All right, that is the third group, you guys. This is your full moon in Cancer. Pick a card live. Oh, I pity the poor people that watched the whole thing. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be looking to read your comments and see what you guys think. If you enjoyed the video and you're watching on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up button. It greatly helps me to get more views because YouTube will show it to other people. If you're watching on Facebook, please go over to YouTube and subscribe to the channel, and vice versa. If you're watching on YouTube, follow my business page on Facebook. If you ever want a private reading, you can always message me at the Facebook business page. Those are always available. And if you like these, let me know, and I will maybe do them on full moon cycles again, just to honor the full moon and see what's happening for the next cycle. Remember, full moons are about releasing. So what I do love about this reading, just in particular, because I'm looking at these cards, is that death is the release, right? So we get this opportunity over the next few days to kind of look at what is it that we don't want to take into 2021. And so I feel like that's that death card right there. It's like, boom, okay, what do we want to let go of so that we can step forward into the power of that magician, right? The like sort of refreshing, you know, the Fool is the first beginning card of the journey. The Magician is card number 1, right? But to me, it's like the beginning of the journey ultimately. So we're beginning a new cycle. We're beginning a new journey in that magician energy. And that's a beautiful, strong, powerful energy. We need to own it and channel it and allow it to attract to us exactly that with which we desire. But we have to really, truly desire it. And with that, we have to have that death transformation to make way for that desire. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. All right, you guys. So thank you for tuning in. And I think I said all of that. Oh, well, I didn't say it at the beginning of the video. Always never take anything I say in any of these readings over anything that a professional may say in your life. Like say, you know, if you guys have a doctor, a lawyer, or a probation officer, always listen to them first and foremost. Do not, you know, take what I say in a pick a card reading as the gospel. They're here to support you and give you hope and, you know, maybe make you laugh and inspire you. But ultimately, you are the driver of your chariot, especially this group with the chariot in the dead center. So, and you've got this beautiful horse here. So there's a whole lot of horsey riding going on in your guys' reading. But you guys steer your own boat kind of thing. So be empowered and go out there and do it. All right, I'm going to sign off and have a great night, you guys. And I will talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.